Well, Happy New Year, everybody. And guess what time it is? It's time for another Coach's Corner with George Alston.
Coach's Corner with Will Alexander and George Alston. Brought to you by ProPlan and K9 Chronic.
Hi, everybody. Happy New Year to everybody. And welcome back to Coach's Corner with the coach himself, Mr. George Alston. Hey, George, did you have a good holiday?
Oh, I certainly did. It was wonderful. Family and everything. And it was a wonderful, wonderful holiday, both Christmas and New Year's.
Well, Jennifer sent me a picture of you smiling, and she said, "Look, he does smile."
Okay, today,
what do you got for us?
I had a bunch of phone calls and pictures sent to me as far as advertising.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, I think people have the wrong idea on advertising. They said, well, I got to get some advertising out so we can do some winning.
Yeah.
I was taught that advertising should be like a brag at a local kennel club meeting, where we used to go and sit and we put $1 in the pot, and then we would brag to everybody what our dogs had already done. And this nonsense, I went back and looked at some magazines, and there was one, there was this, look for us at the shows in Orlando. So they're advertising for future wins.
Basically.
And it should not be. That's
we all know it should not be, but,
I understand that. But they, it's the wrong idea. I was always taught that you do it as a brag session. You're bragging on your dog.
Yeah.
So let's get into some of the timing of when you advertise. What you should do is sit down at the beginning of the year and say, okay, I have X number of dollars to spend on advertising. And then you split it up throughout the year. I see so many people, they do a blitz of advertising in, let's say, March, April, and May, and then you don't see them for the rest of the year. Out of sight, out of mind.
Exactly.
You got to do it on a regular basis. Just like we do a regular basis on Coach's Corner the first of every month. And hopefully people look forward to listening to us emote once a month. But it's the same idea. Also, before the Madison Square Garden show, I saw people put an ad in there of them winning under a judge that was judging their breed at Madison Square Garden. And if that's not the dumbest thing that I've ever seen in my life, because what are you doing? You're saying, hey, look, this judge put me up, and you put a target on your back for everybody and their brother to badmouth you for the rest of that period of time.
That's true.
And also, too, the judge doesn't like to be put on the spot like that. So he's going to go overboard, even though he doesn't think he is going to.
Well, it's already in the back of everybody's head and the judge's head that, oh, he's going to put that dog up. So that's how, when you start thinking that way, when you start hearing things as a judge that you're going to put this dog up, you don't want to be that predictable.
Well, that's right. And the same thing before a national specialty or something like that. They put, oh, you got to put an ad in because the national specialty is coming up. No, national specialty is coming up. There ain't no ad going to be put in because I don't want anybody to know that I'm even going to be there, for God's sake. Because I don't want them aiming at me.
Yeah, but you were always a different case because you always had a highly contending dog. I think the people that might not be in that same category, they want to get their dogs out there and let people know their dogs are going. I think national specialties are a little bit of a different case because you're advertising that your number one dog in your kennel is going to be there, so everybody come and see him if you have any questions or whatnot.
Well, that is true, but then that would depend upon what magazine you're doing. If it's an all breed magazine like Canine Chronicle, you're dealing with the whole dog show public. And if you have, let's say, the Irish Setter magazine, fine, put an ad in there because people may want to see your dog to be used as stud or something like that. Okay. Number 2 or 3 or whatever, only put good pictures in.
Yeah, some people have to realize what a good picture is sometimes.
A good picture is not just a good picture of the dog, it's a good picture of the handler.
The team, yes.
And absolutely a good picture of the judge. If you put an ugly picture of a judge in the magazine, he's going to say, oh, I'm not going to put that sucker up. You know?
Let's hope they don't think that way.
But, it's, I went through the Canine Chronicle, several of the ones we have sitting around the house here. And there's pictures in there, and the dog looks absolutely beautiful. And the handler looks like is standing there hunched over the top of the dog with their feet spread 3 feet wide, their arms flailing or in some weird position, and they look like they're going to jump on top of their dog. So here they are producing a picture of a dog and making him look elegant, and the handler doesn't look elegant at all. So it totally ruins the whole idea of why it's in there. Number 4, everybody keeps putting in show pictures. But what is the most important thing on a dog? The one most important thing.
I guess that depends on overall balance, average. For me, it's that way. But you're probably talking about what's that?
What temperament? What is the first thing that is in every single breed standard? The first paragraph.
True enough.
So I think you put pictures in that have a tendency to show the temperament of maybe not only the dog, but the temperament of the handler. Now, if people would go back and do research, one of the most beautiful pictures and ads that was ever done by anybody was Frank Sabella on the beach with Command Performance flying through the air and Frank in a dancing position. It was absolutely, positively the best.
Yeah, it was a great ad. Yeah, no question.
One of the great ad. Do pictures of dogs that so things look brings out their temperament or what they're doing. If it's a field dog and he's used in the field, like we used. Mr. Clark used Yankee, my Gordon setter, to hunt turkey. We did a picture of him in the field on point. In fact, there was a show that we showed Yankee up in upstate New York at a fairground, and it was a very hot day. And when I went to take Yankee around the ring after his individual, a pigeon came in and flew around the ring and landed on a chair, and he stopped and went on point, staring at this. The photographer, John Ashby, who is the greatest photographer going, he's smart enough to take a picture of that. And so we used that as an ad.
Good idea.
We had Johnny Ashby and I would talk about what kind of pictures that we wanted to do to bring out personality or a certain part of the dog. I showed an Irish setter, Champion McCammon Marquis, is probably one of the greatest headed Irish setters that ever walked this earth. But his body and all his hair overshadowed that. So, I said, Johnny, how are we going to bring this head out and show still social personality and everything? We laid him down in the grass. Nice, bright green grass, let his hair go out, laying there Sphinx style, with just beautiful head staring at, and all you could see was the head. And we didn't put any verbiage in the ad at all. We just put the marquee. That's the only thing we put in that ad.
That's perfect.
We made more people just love it. It brought out, when I was showing Private Stock, he had whenever he went best in show or a group first, he would always jump straight up in the air. Well, Johnny Ashby caught it. It's in my book, the back cover of my book. There's Private Stock jumping in the air going best in show. He also took a picture of, people think that hounds, for instance, don't have a personality. And especially harriers and foxhounds and that type of thing. Well, Johnny Ashby takes a picture of a harrier I was showing at Madison Square Garden just jumping up on me and me petting him. Whoever heard of a harrier jumping up and being petted? We got a lot of comments on that. We also, too, when you're putting pictures in, don't put group 2s, group 3s, group 4s pictures in there. Why spend all that money to advertise that your dog has been defeated by another dog? My daughter Jane, when she was showing her Clumber Spaniel and starting off, she would put in group 4 pictures, group 3 pictures, because Clumbers don't usually do that. And I said, Jane, don't tell them that you've been beaten. Put in a best of breed picture or a group 1 picture or a best in show picture, but no 2, 3, and 4s. Or put a cute picture in of him, which she did, of the dog having 5 tennis balls in his mouth.
I remember that one, yeah.
Which that brought out personality.
Right.
In fact, she even did that, tennis balls in the mouth, on TV for I forget who, that late night show guy.
Oh, David Letterman after the Garden.
Yeah, David
Yeah.
Letterman. After she went Best in Show at Madison Square Garden, but she didn't really start to take off and until she started taking the 2, 3s, and 4s out. Because then the judge looks and says, "Hey, she's happy with a Group 4. Hell, she's a Group 4." So, I mean, that's my philosophy.
Right. Yeah. One of my pet peeves about advertising is if they put too much in the ad, too much too much.
Absolutely.
I don't want to read a novel. I don't want to read about that.
Yeah, and also too, don't tell everybody what your record is, because that puts that record is going to change.
Right.
And one of my favorite ads that we did was on the English Foxhound Winslow, when he went Best in Show. First of all, we did a 2-page ad. It was a map of Pennsylvania and Virginia and that area. He went Best in Show at Middleburg. We put a little tiny picture of him going Best in Show at Middleburg, Virginia. And then we had an indicator on there like they use on AAA maps to show you your route to Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, where he ran opening day. The following day after Middleburg, he ran as lead hound at Plum Run Hunt. And then we did another one where he went all the way down to Charlottesville, Virginia, and he went Best in Show again. We didn't say anything except put his name at the top, and just to let you folks know what Winslow did this weekend. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
I know when they fill it up. I also don't like when they put Best in Show, Best in Specialty Show, Champion, whatever the dog's name is, because those aren't titles. Those are awards. I don't like seeing that. So
right. Also, too, there's a form of advertising that people don't use, and I think it's so stupid.
Oh,
you see, I use that word a lot, don't I? But there's a lot of stupid people out there in this world, and they'll put a dog's picture in a magazine in motion. And I had a friend of mine send me a picture of his dog in motion and said, "What do you think about using this in an ad?" And so I said to him, I said, "Well, you look at the picture and tell me." He says, "Gorgeous top line, gorgeous neck and shoulder. Head position is absolutely perfect. Tail set is absolutely perfect." It was an Irish setter. "Everything is fine." He said, "Great extension back, great extension to the front." And I said, "What's wrong with the picture?" He looks at it, he says, "He's in a 4-beat stride." I said, "How can you tell?" He says, "He's got 1 foot on the ground." I said, "Bingo. Why are you going to put the ad in the magazine of a dog that is not moving properly?" An Irish setter should move in a 2-beat stride. So you would have 2 feet on the ground or no feet on the ground, but not 1 foot on the ground. And I said, "Now, what is causing this?" And he looks at it, he said, "I don't know." I said, "His head's about an inch, half an inch too high. And look at your elbow, it's bent. So you have that dog very, very close to you. He is doing in a 4-beat stride, so that he can get away. He's afraid you're going to step on him, so that he can move away. And the 4-beat stride is a very agile stride, but it is not efficient. So he decided not to use that picture. I went through a magazine in preparing for this, and there were, out of all the ads in there, I believe there were 17 pictures of a dog in motion, and not one picture was of a dog that was moving correctly. Not one.
Yeah. Problem is our eyes are drawn as a outsider looking in. Our eyes are drawn to things that sometimes look odd for that individual breed, and you think, "Oh, look at that! It's doing that," but it's wrong. It happens all the time in certain breeds, like it happens in Vizslas, with dogs that have like lower tail sets and whatnot. People see a flat tail set, and they go, "Oh, look how beautiful!" Well, it's wrong, people.
You know, yeah, it's like somebody had a picture, and they put an ad in. It was an American foxhound, and it had a flat back. You know, and somebody said, "Hey, that is one heck of a foxhound, American foxhound. Look at that top line." I said, "Yeah," and it's wrong.
Yeah, it's true, but our eyes are drawn to those things, and they're usually wrong for the breed. So.
Absolutely. And then also, too, there's one other type of advertising that people miss altogether. And I used it all the time. Most handlers and most people, when they're in the ring, especially the group ring, and they're waiting for all the other dogs to go, they don't let the spectators even get close to their dogs. I would let my dogs go and play with the spectators.
Oh, for sure, me too. Depending on the dog, obviously. But
well, yeah. You know, if he hates little kids, no, I'm not going to let him do it. You know, but I would let my specials dogs, and I would try them out on my kids first to make sure that they like kids. And then I would let them play with the kids and play with people. When you're at a show, the people that get the magazines aren't the ones that are going to clap for your dog. Who's going to clap for your dog? The people that were playing with your dog and said, "Hey, that's a pretty neat dog." Look,
oh, for sure.
And that is a form of advertising. You should be smart on your advertising. Remember that the total picture has to be good and relevant, and not an epistle being written on that ad.
Exactly. Less is always more. I've always thought that. So.
Absolutely. It was great, buddy. It was great.
All right. Happy New Year, George, and happy advertising, everybody. And we'll see you down the road.
Okay. Bye.
Thanks, George. And what I mentioned about the picture from Jennifer, she did send me a picture saying, "Look, he does smile." But I know George smiles. It's just part of his persona to act all grumpy. Anyway, again, happy New Year to everybody, and we'll see you down the road.